I thought I'd start my talk today discussing a really important issue that I feel hasn't been getting the media coverage that it should be. It's been flying a little bit under the radar. You probably haven't heard much about it, especially if you live in Auckland. And I thought it was really important for me to bring this to your attention. So the issue that I'm talking about is, of course, the housing market. So it seems like you have heard of it, and I'm not surprised because we're getting a lot of coverage about it. And what all of this coverage has done is make me really aware of property when I'm driving around Auckland. And not so much the beautiful properties that I can't afford, but the ones that have been left to rack and ruin. Paint peeling off the walls, really neglected. And you think to yourself, how could somebody let that happen? How could they make such a massive investment in their future just to let it all waste away? Well, we know there are a few reasons for that. It takes money to maintain a house and motivation. You need to be planning and looking ahead. And if we're honest with ourselves, it's really just plain hard. So I'm sure you've all kind of guessed where I'm going with this. Digital products are like houses. The digital market is booming, and every product is an investment with massive potential. It would be considered crazy to invest millions of dollars in building a brand new house just to let it fall to pieces. And yet, companies do this with their products all the time. It's like Megan's discussion about the horizons and the vision. They just leave it to that first purple box and kind of forget about the rest once the product has gone live. So I like to call this go-live blindness. And we all suffer from it, ourselves included. So what I'd like to talk about today is the role that we as external parties can play in helping our clients and ourselves overcome this terrible malady that is go-live blindness, and put into place some best practices and processes for iterating products after that ever so important deadline. So, like so many things in life, the best defense against post-go-live apathy is a good offense. And in this case, a good offense is a post-go-live plan. Your plan should cover your user engagement strategy, as well as outlining what your client relationship is going to look like once that product has gone live. Having this plan in place right from the beginning sets the scene for your life after go live. So let's look at planning for engagement first. When you're looking to build engagement, it's not enough to measure your success simply by the number of page views or the bounce rate or the conversion rate, because the key to engagement is long-term repeated use. So the first step of a good post-go-live plan is to put into place a definition of what engagement looks like. Your definition of engagement should answer questions like, how often is an engaged user using your product? What are the core tasks that they're completing? Armed with this definition, you can start to put into place methods for tracking and identifying your engaged users as part of your post-go-live activities. So once we know what an engaged user looks like and we've put into place ways to identify them, what do we do next? Well, we want to talk to them, of course. And rather than focusing on what's not going well, talking to an engaged user helps you understand what is working so that you can focus your attention on successful pathways, while in the meantime trying to replicate that success in other areas of the product. Your post-go-live plan should cover how often you're going to be talking to engaged users and put into place methods for actioning those learnings to continue to iterate your product. When you're creating this plan, you're going to want to make sure that you're working really closely with your clients to make sure that it's both realistic and achievable. The final goal of designing for engagement is, of course, retention. It's no good focusing all of your energy on building engagement initially, only to become complacent later. A good post-go-live plan will incorporate re-engagement strategies. It'll put into place methods for re-engaging users through external triggers and through long-term loops. And while your emails and notifications and special offers are manually re-engaging your users, you can be focusing on innovating and building internal triggers, using all of the insights that you're gathering from talking to your engaged users. Oh, whoops, I missed my points on that one. Sorry, there they are. So a quick example of this in practice. Last year we were fortunate enough to work with the Auckland Art Gallery on their brand new digital platform and website. And a primary goal for the gallery was to build engagement with their online collection. Our initial definition of engagement was quite conservative. We wanted to see users who were viewing more than one artwork in a session, and we wanted to see people who were returning to the site frequently within a 3-month period. So since the site has gone live, we've been tracking our engaged users, and what we've realized is that one of the key drivers for engagement with the collection has been these random curated sets of artworks that the gallery has been creating, using titles like rabbits during Easter or clouds on a particularly bad rainy day. And on further investigation, what we've realized is that the reason that these collections work so well is they give novice users a really easy way to enter into the collection. They make the collection seem less intimidating, and they deal really effectively to the paradox of choice that a lot of casual browsers will be facing. So based on these learnings, we've been working really closely with the gallery to expand their ability to tell stories online and to give them really detailed tools and techniques to start curating these artworks in the digital space. So I'm sure by now you're all thinking, well, that's all fine and dandy, but how do I get my clients on board with this? And that's a really good question, because especially when you're working in an agency or consultancy environment, you're often dealing with a very different mindset. And it can be hard to get stakeholder buy-in for work after go live. So let's look at the second part of the post-go live puzzle, which is winning over your clients. So the first step here is to set yourself up for success from the beginning by being consistent. And what I mean by this is that you should be setting the scene with your clients right from day one. We tend to do this as part of our very first engagement with them during our business development process. Right from the beginning, we treat ongoing work after go live as a matter of fact, and we start planning for it immediately. Of course, we don't assume that we'll be the ones doing all of the work, but right from the start, we're focusing our clients' attention not only on their immediate requirements, but their ongoing future requirements as well. One of our core beliefs is that we treat our clients as partners, not clients. And I know that sounds like sales speak, but I assure you it's not. By treating our clients as partners, we allow ourselves to be completely honest. So by removing the trappings of a traditional client-vendor relationship, we empower both parties to voice their opinions and to express their concerns freely. This open two-way communication is really critical for building trust not only in each other, but in the process. And additionally, bringing clients into our offices, into our meetings, into our discussions, facilitates knowledge transfer and exposes them to ways of doing things that may have been really unfamiliar to them. Lastly, but most importantly, the key to keeping clients motivated in the long term is to follow through on the process. Nothing makes a process seem less valuable than when its original champion fails to see it through. As part of our post-go live plan, we schedule quarterly catch-ups with our clients, and we use this time to talk about the last 3 months, how the product's going, and to talk about the backlog and the product roadmap. Making sure that these meetings happen regularly gives clients a sense of consistency. It makes us seem reliable, because we are being reliable, and it keeps issues fresh in their mind and gives us the opportunity to encourage them to keep moving forwards. So let's look at the art gallery again. When we first took over that project, the gallery was used to a very traditional form of project management. So they'd never heard of an agile backlog, they'd never heard of product roadmaps, and they were used to quite reactive and frequent communication. Through the course of the project, by bringing them into our meetings, by involving them in our conversations, by being consistent with the process and at times persistent with the process, the gallery has gone through an amazing transformation. They've understood the value of having a backlog and a product roadmap, and they've started putting into place processes for iterating their products in the future. What's more, they've actually become a catalyst for a much wider digital transformation, not only within the gallery, but within their parent organization, regional facilities as well. So to recap, the key to maintaining and building engagement in the long term is to have a solid post-go live plan in place from day one. Your plan should cover what engagement looks like and how you'll measure it, and we'll put into place processes for actioning your learnings. At the same time, your plan should cover how you're going to be engaging with your clients after the project is over. By being clear about the process from the start, including your clients, and following through in the long term, you'll be keeping clients motivated and products alive. A well-executed post-go-live plan sends a very powerful message. There's still work to be done, and the project is not over. Thank you.